Hey there, all my foodie friends. It turns out that the old school spaghetti sauce that I grew up on wasn't even Bolognese. I guess I've been lied to. Today, I'm making a classic Bolognese. There's obviously many variations of a classic Bolognese, but classic in comparison to what I grew up on. Always enjoyed spaghetti dinners as a kid and kind of learned to make that meat sauce from my parents, only to find out in later years that that was not Bolognese at all, that was meat sauce. Come with us as we make a classic Bolognese rigatoni. Carrot, celery, and onions are major components to a classic Bolognese. So I think I'm going to do about 2 carrots and 3 stalks of celery. I'm going to do 1 whole cooking onion or yellow onion. And again, just small enough that we can kind of put them in our food processor and they'll get nicely chopped. And we'll use about 3 cloves of garlic. Give these a quick smash so we can peel them. All right, our veggies ready to go in the food processor. I'm going to start with the carrots and give them just a little blend. And then I'll add my celery and onions and garlic. And we can give that a blend again. I'm just pulsing it. That way you have nice control over the size of this. So there we can see it's not overly fine. Definitely not a puree. And everything's uniform, relatively the same size. It doesn't have to be uniform in shape, it just has to be uniform in size. And that's going to be perfect for our Bolognese. A couple tablespoons of olive oil and a couple tablespoons of butter. And we'll let that heat up until it's kind of getting foamy. All right, so in goes our vegetables. And we're going to keep cooking these until it releases some of the moisture and it'll reduce down a little bit. And everything will get very aromatic, of course, and during that process, the vegetables will get tender. And now that our vegetables are tender and everything's cooked down a little bit, we're going to add 1.5 pounds of ground chuck and 1.5 pounds of ground pork. A little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. Continue to cook the meat, breaking up with a wooden spoon until it is fully cooked. Okay, so our meat and vegetable mixture has had a chance to cook, and this is where things get strange in comparison to our meat sauce that we all grew up with. We're going to now add to the pan 2 cups of milk. Let me assure you, my mom did not use milk in our meat sauce. So now we're going to cook this. You cook it down until it's evaporated and there's no liquid left in the pan. So this could take anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. You don't want to put it on high and let's see how fast you can get there. You want to do it kind of in control. We're going to put it on about a medium. Let this reduce. We'll come and check on it every 10 minutes. Once our milk has had a chance to reduce down so there is little or no liquid left in the pan, then we can add some white wine. And since I'm doing a larger recipe, I'm going to add 2 cans of whole tomatoes. And then we can go ahead and break these tomatoes up. We want to have some texture to our tomatoes, so we're just going to break them up and they will kind of break down. We're going to end up cooking this for another 2 to 2.5 hours. And during that process, we're going to stir it fairly frequently, and we're going to continue to break the tomatoes up a little bit. Sprinkle more salt, a sprig of thyme, and a little grating of nutmeg. Now we're going to put a lid on it and let it simmer on low. We'll come and check on it every 10 to 15 minutes and give it a little stir. All right, so our bolognese had about 2.5 hours of fairly continuous stirring and cooking on kind of medium-low heat. It reduced down a fair bit during that process. That's just part of course, the concentration of flavors. The bottom line is it's very meaty and very vegetable-y and not overly saucy. But that's going to change because this again is not served in the same way that our meat sauce was that we grew up on, where we would cook our spaghetti noodles and then everybody would take some spaghetti and then we would ladle on our sauce over top of it. Of course, bolognese is not going to be served like that. We're going to finish it in a pan with the noodles and a little bit of the pasta water. So I'm going to transfer a good spoonful, I'm going to say about a cup or so, and we'll get that in there. That we're going to get onto the heat. I'm also going to remove any of the fresh herbs, which is fresh thyme in this particular case. All right, so we've heated our bolognese. Our pasta is al dente, so I'm going to grab about a 1/4 cup of the pasta water to add to this, which will start it to kind of emulsify a little bit. So our pasta water goes in, and we're going to add our cooked pasta directly to the pan. Of course, the pasta water as well as the pasta itself still has some starches on it, which will help us create that luxurious sauce that we're looking for. And what we're looking to do, of course, is to continue to cook this until we get a nice glaze on all the noodles. During this process, I'm going to finish it with a little bit of butter, which will assist with that. And at any time, if I feel like it needs a bit more liquid, of course, I'll add more pasta water. It's looking beautiful and luxurious already. And a bit of butter, a bit more of the sauce, just to bring it all together in a nice, luxurious finish. Once the sauce has a creamy texture and is clinging to the rigatoni noodles, we can serve it up. Such a hearty and rustic pasta dish that satisfies like no other. And of course, instead of that crappy shaker parm, like we grew up on, we're going to do some fresh Parmesan. Wow, that is beautiful. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like more kitchen inspiration, click the subscribe button and you will make both of us happy. Rigatoni Bolognese. Thank you for joining me on another food adventure.